Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Thursday and we are here for Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. Welcome. It is so good to have you join me. Hope you are doing well. Cheers, everyone, to an amazing week. Hope you have some things that you are feeling grateful for today as we get into Thursday. Thanks. Good morning, Martha. Good morning, Yvette. How are you ladies doing? Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Elaine. Welcome, 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 everyone. It's so great to see you all. How's everybody doing? How's your week going so far? Just giving everybody a chance to jump on. We are going to get into some discussions around good morning. Good morning, Paul. Some discussion around gratitude and how it affects your brain function, actually. I want to get out of this space of thinking that gratitude's just this nice, feel-good, woo-woo space. It actually has studies that have proven that it enhances brain function. And so I want to get into that a little bit and talk about that. Oh, happy birthday to your dad, Yvette. Wonderful. Happy birthday, Dad. Great, turns 81. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Hope you guys are going to celebrate big. How's everybody else doing? What are you grateful for this week? Before we jump in and talk about why a practice of gratitude is really so important and what it has to do with your brain capacity, what it has to do with the function of your brain, and what it does for you neurologically. I'm curious, how's everybody doing? I've had a great week. Martha, I've had a great week so far. Networking, it's not over yet. Yes, I love that, and I hope you're approaching it with your best possible outcome, as we talked about yesterday, and allowing yourself to really envision that win-win-win for everyone. So again, welcome everybody. Good morning. It's so good to have you here. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Robin. Ooh, I love that everyone's jumping on. All right, so let's dive in a little bit. I actually found a couple things that I want to share with you. As you know, I always love to do research and extract great information, and I saw a couple studies both from UCLA and Berkeley, and really got me thinking, because I get people, and not necessarily you guys, but I get people, especially people I work with, that push back on the power of gratitude. And oftentimes they'll say, oh, it just is, me being positive or me being happy. And it's just kind of that, nice, soft and fuzzy space, or that woo-woo space. What I want you to realize is that there's more and more studies being conducted that actually shows the relationship of a practice of gratitude. Again, this is actually creating movement in that space, activating gratitude, not just having an attitude of gratitude. An attitude of gratitude is great. And it does help from having a positive mindset. It does help from allowing us to be a little happier. It does allow us to be more present, but it's when we drop in and really activate gratitude and we step into a place of a practice of gratitude that it truly has significant impact on our brain function, our neurological wiring, and even our capacity for how we can improve our own mental health. And so what's interesting is they've done studies, and most studies in the past have really been done around, good morning, it is gonna be an amazing day, I love that. Most of the studies that have been done in the past around gratitude have always looked at well-functioning people. So it's always looking at people that tend to know how to handle life's challenges, know how to handle the curveballs, things that life's throwing. What Berkeley and UCLA decided to do was really work with people that have mental challenges or concerns, people that are really diagnosed with either mental issues, or they really find themselves depressed or really struggling to see the positive aspects of what life brings. Good morning, Kathy. And so what was interesting about that is they randomly selected these different groups, right? They put people together not based on mental health, but based on just randomly putting them together, right? And so what they did is they created a gratitude practice, and it was writing gratitude letters, it was writing in their gratitude journal. And what they saw over a period of time was significant. The level of the way the brain was firing, the way the brain was functioning was significantly higher for those that engaged in a daily practice of gratitude versus those that either engaged in a negative space or didn't engage in anything at all. And so what was powerful about that is they looked at it over 4 weeks, they looked at it over 12 weeks. This is the study at Berkeley. And they saw this significant lift. They saw this significant lift in cortisol levels, in the way the brain is functioning, in focus and clarity and energy, in the fact that people were creating other disciplines in their life. And so what they saw, and this was UCLA saw this in particular, that those that were practicing gratitude also increased their exercise during the week, also increased their level of other things that filled their cup and brought happiness. And so there's a bigger mindfulness in that space that I found really interesting. And so when they talk about it, it actually affects the gray matter functioning, right? It makes us healthier, it makes us happier, it makes us able to be more cognitive, or able to have greater clarity and focus. And just as a side note, for those of you that have really been struggling with clarity and focus, I have to say I was prepping the workshop for Saturday. Holy cow, hold on to your seats. We're gonna have so much fun and dig in, and you are gonna accelerate your growth massively just by the 4 hours we're gonna spend together on Saturday. So there are still spots left. Please join us. And like I said before, if you can only be there for part of it, or you can't be there for it at all, it will be recorded, so you can go back and like engage in it when you have that block of time and really get into how to accelerate your own growth and get really crystal clear on what matters to you most. And it is helping you fire and activate all of that brain matter that's like, all right, this is how I want to show up. This is what I'm going to organize for my life. And it'll help you create more discipline. It'll help you create more focus around what those goals are that you want. So highly encourage, if you haven't signed up, sign up. We are going to launch that Saturday morning. And I have to say, I was super excited as I was putting all the pieces together last night. And I know that this will significantly move the needle for you. And so I just highly encourage you to do that. I mean, I get it's 4 hours. And like I said, if you can't be there for the whole time, sign up anyway so that you can then have access, because what I'm going to share with you is some of my best stuff. And it is absolutely going to shift things for you and help you get into a space to drop in. And I say that because same like practice of gratitude, we need to activate that space where we can really focus. We need to activate that space where we can really allow ourselves to be grounded in what we need, how we're healthier, firing on all, the neurological functions of our body. And so neuroscience really reveals that gratitude literally rewires your brain to be happier. And so it's interesting because there's studies that have even proven that a practice of gratitude increases your levels of happiness by 25% or more. I'm good with that. I'm okay with increasing my levels of happiness by 25% or more. And so think about the power of that as you get into it. And so these are some of the things that I want you to think about when you're determining what your practice looks like. And there's so many tools. We've talked about how to be mindful in meditation. We've talked about how to create a gratitude journal, how to create gratitude notes or letters to other people, how to create your gratitude jar. I actually, and in fact, I just got a huge payment from one of my corporate clients, and this morning I was writing off some checks to pay bills. And I literally, on my bills when I pay them, I write paid exclamation point with a happy face, and then I write thank you exclamation point, and I put a heart. And I have gratitude for every bill that I pay. And I create a practice daily. Good morning, Mateo. Namaste. I create a practice around where and how I can have gratitude for everything in my life. And I've had some, I think I was sharing over the last couple of days, I've had some things that have been really challenging personally and professionally the last month or so. And it really came to a head Friday when I had a complete meltdown and my soul was exhausted. I had gratitude even in that space, even as much as the shitstorm had me tossing and turning this turbulent little dance, if you want to call it a dance. It was more like I think it was more like a rapid swing dance or foursquare. I was getting tossed and turned all over the place. Such gratitude in that, because I know that all of that is helping to grow. And one of the things I've learned is even in the conflict, even in the stuff that feels icky, when you can drop in and practice gratitude, not just, wow, I feel grateful for this, this is awesome, but deliberately sit down and think about what this is doing for you, what you're learning, how you're growing, and allow yourself to just drop in and say, I'm deeply grateful for the fact that I get to go through this, because the fact that I get to go through this means I'm arriving somewhere else on the other side. And it really activates your level of happiness. Oh, thank you. LinkedIn kudos. Yes, those are a great way to share and practice gratitude. There's ways, and here's what I want you to realize about the effects of gratitude, the practice of gratitude and what it does to brain function and what it does for you neurologically, is it really does untether you or unshackle you from toxic emotions. So when you're feeling those triggers, when you're feeling that toxicity in some of the emotions that have shown up over and over again, when you can drop into that practice of gratitude, when you can activate that space, it actually helps you untether yourself. It helps you create a more mindful and purposeful space. It helps you even if you don't share it out. If it's something that you do just for yourself, if you create a practice of gratitude where it's not necessarily you're sharing it out all the time, it also has benefits because it's about the practice. It's about you being, what it's doing is it's creating that space of mindfulness. And anytime we can get really mindful, and I think I shared yesterday, one of my podcast interviews I just had, Keith had mentioned it's the breath, it's the space between the two breaths. So when you have the inhale and the exhale, and I keep doing that opposite with my hands, the inhale and exhale, there's this beautiful space in between. And when you can create a mindfulness inside of that, when you can create a space to actually practice gratitude inside that space, it's amazing what you can bring forward and what you can drop in. And so I want you to think about that. And then it does take time. I think there's a misperception around, oh, I'm just going to start a practice of gratitude and man, I'm going to get instant results tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It's an accumulation of you, just like anything else. It's a muscle. And so if you think about it, you go to the gym one time, you work your abs and you're like, great, now I got a six pack. Doesn't work that way. You've got to put in the time to really grow the muscle. And so when you can be in a space to flex that muscle, the benefits of that start to accumulate and start to exponentially accumulate over time. And if you're someone like me who's like, man, I'm all for increasing my levels of happiness by 25% or more, then I really want to be deliberate about that practice of gratitude. And at the end of the day, what do you have to lose? It feels good, right? Even if you don't buy into the fact that it's affecting your brain matter, that it's affecting how your brain is wired and the function of your brain. And they have shown more and more that for people that really have mental health concerns and issues, now some require more than just that, but the significant level that they are able to increase their function, their overall mental health, their capacity to focus, their energy, their desire to take care of other aspects of their health and wellness significantly goes up as well. And that is so important. One of the biggest things that we miss in the whole mental health space is how our diet, how our mindset, how our exercise, how our things that are in our control affect the symptoms, just like anything. I had a client once, and just to share this as an example. Good morning, Tanya. Just to share this as kind of an analogy or a story, an example, I had a client once that I was working with who she was going through menopause, and I might have shared this story before, but it's worth sharing again because this is the correlation to how you create that mindfulness practice and how you know that there are things that can either exasperate your symptoms when you're going through something, or they can reduce the magnitude of the symptoms and the effect that they're having on you. And so, for instance, she was going through menopause, and she's like, I feel like there's probably some foods that would help me as I'm going through menopause, that would pull some of the inflammation out of my body, that will help my hormones regulate a little bit more. And so I told her, I said, go out and research what you can find. I said, my guess is it's going to be your healthy foods. It's going to be healthy fats and greens and, the stuff that they tell us for everything. And what was interesting is she had called me, or she had texted me and said, I need to talk to you. And I was coming off a 3-day training in Dallas that I had done. I was certifying coaches at that time. And I'm driving back and it's raining and I'm exhausted. For those of you that have attended a 3-day, I give everything I have and I am tapped out and depleted when it is over. And so I had just done a coach certification training program, launched, trained these coaches, certified them, and was driving back. So I'm driving back 3.5 hours, 4 hours in the rain from Dallas to Austin afterwards. And I'm just tapped out. It's taken all my energy just to drive, right? And she's like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, you know what? Not available. This is my time. I got to recharge. And she was just so insistent that I finally was like, okay, here's the state I'm in. And so I was very clear that, the boot in the butt moments were going to come fast and furious, because when I'm at that point, it's not, me being super mindful is probably not going to happen because I'm tapped out, and we have to honor that, right? And so we're on the phone and she says something about, well, I did the research, and you know what? I was really disappointed because I didn't find anything that really helps when it comes to how to reduce the symptoms of menopause. And I listened to her, and she kind of was rambling and telling me what she did. And all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I said, bullshit. And she said, what? And I said, you didn't not find information that told you what you need to do. What you didn't find was information that validates that you still can be eating crappy foods, high fat foods that are saturated fats, sugars, carbs, soda. She was a big soda drinker. And she's like, and I just kind of like laid it on her, and she said, her response was, ouch. I said, okay, well, we hit on something. You know that I just hit something that's probably true. And I said, the thing is your research didn't show you what you wanted to hear, but your research showed you exactly what you needed to know. And what's interesting about that, and the reason I share that story in the space is, when we think about our mental health, when we think about our emotional health, our physical health, our wellness, our comprehensive and overall wellness, we know the things. If we really drop in, and there's that space in between the two breaths, right? There's that space of leaning in and knowing what our body needs, knowing what our mind needs, knowing what our gratitude is one of those tools. Gratitude is food for the soul. And so when you think about the fact that, good morning, Robin, when you think about the fact that that practice of gratitude is actually rewiring your brain so that you are receiving and dropping in and increasing your levels of happiness and cortisol and the good endorphins and the feel-good emotions, it's like putting coconut oil and broccoli and artichokes and good food into your system. It's the same thing. We know oftentimes when we resist it, and this is why I'm having this conversation this morning, is because I get a lot of people that resist gratitude. And they're like, oh, it's nice, I can be grateful, sure, that's easy. And it's when they understand that the practice of gratitude, and we talk a lot about activation. I've talked a lot about different things that activate your body, activate the oxygen, the energy, the blood, the neurological wiring and path to your brain and other body functions. We have more control over how we activate that, how we lift that, than we often like to take responsibility for. And so practice of gratitude is like putting really good, organic, rich food into your body. Food that doesn't have the GMOs, food that's not all processed. And it's food for your soul. It's food for your mind. And when you decide to say, it's a non-negotiable, because again, we talk about what are some of those non-negotiables. And for those of you joining on Saturday, we're going to get into some of the what you're not going to do anymore and some of the things you are going to do moving forward. And we're going to have a powerful space. Plus, we're going to really dial in around some of those things that you can be doing as you start to figure out more clarity around your passion, your purpose, your mission, and activate that vision moving forward. Just an incredible space. And I get really excited because I know how much this can change things for you. And I know oftentimes there's resistance. There's resistance to the inconsequential fee that I have. And the reason I have that is so that you actually show up and invest in yourself, or the amount of time, or the fact that you're like, oh, I've heard this 1,000,000 times. And I get really excited, and I keep bringing this up because I know I've worked with clients for, more than 6 years in my business, but more than that, I've used these tools in corporate when I was building teams, high performing teams, and I know how powerful. Plus, they're the same tools I used to help move me out when I was desperately seeking to figure out what my next was. The fact that I felt like there was more for me, and I was exhausted and tapped out and burnt out and tired and just like depleted, I needed to be able to redirect and say, that's not how I think we were supposed to spend this life. And I really believe that. And so I dug in and I did the research, and I implemented these tools, which is why I get so excited every morning when I share them with you, because they have changed my life. They have changed the clients' lives that I've worked with. They're changing people's lives in corporate. I look at some of the messages I got back from bringing some of these conversations into a discussion at a Fortune 100 company last week, and I think about how there's people that said, I feel freed by what we did that day. I feel like there's a new opportunity to step forward. And when I see that, I have a charge to share that with you. And so I get really excited, but I'm like, oh my God, just do it, right? Just sign up, just get in there, just get what you need to move forward. And so again, I have such gratitude and honor all of you for showing up here every morning. And so I'm curious, because I'm going to read something as we close out today, but let's talk about, I've kind of been just wound up this morning. And so I want to hear from you guys. Tanya, I'm grateful for sunshine, good people, energy, and my baby graduating today. Oh, congratulations. God, that just blows my mind. Tanya and I went to high school together, and I am shocked that you have a kid graduating today. That's just, oh my gosh. I am not that old. I keep saying that, right? It's not possible. Congratulations. I'm so excited. Yes, yay for Saturday. I'm so glad you're going to be there, Tanya. Dylan, oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to see you. Robin, good morning, Candy. Yes, gratitude rewires our brain. Yes, absolutely, 1000%. It increases your level of happiness by 25% or more. And it gets all of your focus and functionality and everything activated so that you can focus, you can drive forward, you can have the energy, you can find that momentum you're looking for. Gratitude activates the parasympathetic nervous system, absolutely, which shifts us from fight and flight to rest, restore, and repair. It's healing to our body, mind, and spirit. God, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Robin. That is absolutely true. And most of us, and I'm going to get into that at another time and talk about the fight, flight, freeze response that is our natural tendency when something shows up. Our body, we are triggered. When we're not being mindful, we get into a space where we either want to fight, we are really aggressive, strong energy, or we want to flight, which means we want to retreat, we want to hide, we want to run away, or we're in that freeze mode, which really just holds us in a position where we literally just want to be like a statue or the deer in the headlights. And I'm going to talk about how that shows up, because most people have a dominant space that opens up for them when something's happening and how they react. But usually all of us have one or all of them in different scenarios. And when you are practicing that gratitude, it rewires your brain to be more mindful, to again create that space between the two breaths, to create the empty space, to create the pause so that you can allow that emotion to kind of just move through your body, instead of what happens in any of those states where your body actually then like attaches it, your energy attaches into that emotion. And that's where you start to feel the pain in your chest, or the breath that's really short, or the fact that, you know, your shoulders get really tight, or you feel pain in your legs. We're going to talk about what happens in your body as some of those responses, because your body, first of all, is the biggest truth teller in the world. And so if all of a sudden you say something and you feel like a pain in your groin area, you feel it in like the left side of your waist, or if you feel it like up in your throat or your neck, your body is trying to tell you something, and you're having one of those responses typically, which is a fight, flight, or freeze response. And when you can drop into that gratitude space, what happens is then you respond from a place of love and kindness and compassion, and there's a lightness and an openness, and it really literally shifts the wiring in your body. So Robin, I love that you talked about that. I'm going to bring more around that. Hey there, I love seeing you on this morning. So what are you grateful for this week? Let's talk about that. So let's do a little practice before I share something that I came across. It was actually a post, and it was something someone wrote that just, it really spoke to me about what gratitude is and what it's not. And I want to share it with you in just a minute, but I'm curious, as I take a breath, what are you grateful for? I love that a few of you have already weighed in, but what are you grateful for this week? What are you grateful for this morning? And let's deliberately get into a practice for those of you that are on to communicate, to share, to drop in for a moment and activate that space of gratitude for you, because just that little space will shift your day and open up access for even more. And so Mateo, practicing gratitude also forces out of a victim paradigm, absolutely, and into an active engagement one. Yeah, here's the amazing thing about gratitude. You can't be in a space of gratitude. You can't practice gratitude and be fearful at the same time. It's not possible. It's like you can't be fearful and be wide open and abundant. It's that space of you get to shift. And gratitude is, without a doubt, that practice of gratitude, that activation of gratitude is without a doubt one of the most powerful ways to shift out of a fear space, out of a victim space, out of a shutdown, out of a holy crap, what if space. gratitude immediately pulls you out and raises your vibration. And when you start to practice that on a regular basis, like I said, you may not notice the magnitude of the shift right away because it's a muscle you need to work and flex. But what will happen over time is you will instantly feel a shift in your body. You will go from that heavy anchoring fight, flight, freeze kind of response to a, oh, wow, I get to be focused and present and centered and grounded and raise my vibration. And if you want an instant way to shift your vibration, to truly move yourself into a higher energetic state, then activate your practice of gratitude. It is single-handedly the most powerful way to shift you out of that monkey mind and shift you out of that like spiral detour, is to immediately, and not just go, oh, thank you for this, but to really get in. And a lot of times writing what you're grateful for is powerful, because again, it's that wiring, it's that neurological wiring between your conscious and subconscious mind and your own personal, and I prefer like handwriting, like write it down. There is a connection that happens that shifts your belief when you do that. That's more powerful than when you're just typing it. And so there is, because you have your own handprint, your own signature print, whatever you want to call that, that when you are able to really ground yourself in a space to be present and say, what am I grateful for right now? And I love that Bob Proctor always says, you can start by saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then just fill it in and let yourself go. And that space to really drop into gratitude is just amazing. So Martha, so grateful for the networking opportunities I have had this week with other HR professionals, over 20 new contacts. Oh my God, that's awesome. My peeps, love that. And I love the sunflowers, which is Martha's sign. So I love that. So here we go. I'm gonna read this and I wanna hear any reactions. Keep telling me what you're grateful for, but in the meantime, I'm gonna read this. I just found this morning and I actually thought this was really powerful. So I wanted to share this. And this is from Gratitude. This is from Gratitude from Consolations, the Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words, and it's by David White, and it was written in 2015. But like I said, for whatever reason, it was with purpose. I came across it this morning. So it says, gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without us. Gratitude is not necessarily something that is shown after the event. It is the deep, a priori state of attention that shows we understand and are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of air. That the underlying gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is privilege. That we are miraculously part of something rather than nothing. Even if that something is temporarily pain or despair, we inhabit a living world with real faces, real voices, laughter, the color blue, the green of the fields, the freshness of a cold wind, or the tawny hue of a winter landscape. To see the full miraculous essentiality of the color blue is to be grateful with no necessity for a word of thanks. To see fully the beauty of a daughter's face is to be fully grateful without having to seek a God to thank him. To see the dawn alone, or later in the crowded evening, to sit among friends and strangers, hearing many voices, strange opinions, to intuit inner lives beneath surface lives, to inhabit many worlds all at once in this one world, to be a someone again amongst all other someones and all other things, and therefore to make a conversation without saying a word, is to deepen our sense of presence and therefore our natural sense of thankfulness that everything strangely happens both with us and without us, that we are participants and witness all at once. Thankfulness finds its measure in generosity of presence, both through participation and witness. We meet the dawn and we meet others at the table as part of another or another's world while making our own world without will or effort. That is what is extraordinary and gifted. That is the essence of gratefulness, seeing the heart of privilege. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. Being unappreciative might mean we simply are not paying attention. How awesome is that, right? I love that. And like I said, it just showed up. It just beautifully presented itself this morning as I was getting prepared for our conversation. And I was compelled to print it out and read it, and absolutely adding that to my arsenal of tools, because I just think that's so beautiful. I love that. And I think about, Joe Vitale says, if you're feeling triggered by something, it's the moment you've gone unawake. It's the moment you're not awake, right? You're not there, you're not present. So I love that he says Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. Being unappreciative might mean we are simply not paying attention. And so think about that. When you start to engage and activate that practice of gratitude, you become more present, you become more mindful, you become more available to noticing the miraculous beauty, the miraculous awesomeness that the world has to hold both within you and around you. And when you recognize that you are part of all of that, think about that. I had a conversation this week with someone who was having a lot of self-worth issues, and think about who you are in the midst of all of that, and the fact that you had to be here, that there was a definitive choice that said you had to be part of all of this other beauty and miraculous amazingness and awesomeness that's around us. How does that not drop you into a space to say, wow, I appreciate and am present in that space, and therefore celebrate and have Thanksgiving for who I am and what I am and how I play in everything around me. And so I just love that. Love that. Make a conversation without saying a word, right? Our presence is far more powerful than the words we bring, our energy. You are so welcome. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you. If there's any other comments, please share them. I'd love to hear your reaction to what I just read. Love this, love you. Truly hope some of you that haven't signed up will come join us on Saturday. Like I said, it's going to be a game changer. It is so going to be a needle mover, and I guarantee that we're going to jam pack that 4 hours with such amazing, juicy awesomeness. I know the power of what this can do for you. So if you have the time, if you have the resources available, again, this is a really, small fee for you to join and play full out. And even if you can't be there live, if you want to commit and take that opportunity to provide that space for yourself, still sign up, because I will be recording every aspect of it. You will get all of the tools. You will get everything, and you will have that opportunity to dig in as well, because I don't want you to miss this opportunity to accelerate and amplify. I know what it can do for you, and so fully believe in that. Going to pour my soul out for all of you who join on Saturday. In the meantime, really step in and activate your practice of gratitude. Look at what's possible for you, and I will post it, absolutely, Martha. I will post it on this group, and I will post the poem, I guess you want to call it, the reading I just did, as well as the link for Saturday. So whichever speaks to you, both speaks to you, make sure you take those. Want to make sure I'm providing you resources. And here's just a thought I want you to think about. You don't know who, you don't know how, and you don't know to what level you can affect, influence, or impact change for another person simply by showing up. And your opportunity, the invitation is, are you going to show up? And to show up means we're activating the very best of ourselves, right? And to do that means we're working the muscles of gratitude. We're allowing ourselves that space to be more mindful, to be more present. And so I hope that you will, yes, we are that season. I love that, Tanya. That's awesome. Man, some days I feel it, and other days I'm like, it's not possible. I'm still 22. Not even close. But anyway, it's nice to believe that, right? I think my inner soul is still like 22. That's all right. So with that, mwah. Hope you all have a wonderful day. I have some amazing tools to share with you tomorrow for Friday feature. Some things that I talked to you about. One is really in the active visualization space, and one is a tool that can help you drop into that practice of gratitude and really change the frequency and vibration of where your brain is at simply by listening to some pieces of music that are just powerful. So anyway, going to share that with you tomorrow. Go out there, practice your gratitude, be mindful, and show up and serve at your highest and best capacity. I love you, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.